Welcome to SVG-TV News for October 12th, 2015. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union and the Public Service Union today remain defiant that tomorrow's planned strike action will go ahead. The unions are demanding a compensation of a 1-month tax-free salary from the government in lieu of a 4-year-old wage freeze. President of the Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, told SVG-TV News that they have sacrificed a lot over the years for the rest of the nation, and though their proposal at first was considered by the government as reasonable, it is sad that the leadership of both unions are being attacked on political platforms and elsewhere as they seek what is just for their membership.
I am appealing to all teachers, whether you're a member of the union or not, stay away from work. There is no need to be intimidated by anyone. There is no need to be afraid. The union will defend you as it has done with Otto Sam. The union will continue to fight for you. Stay off the job, please. Everybody come on board, work together with the St. Vincent and Grenadines Teachers Union and the Public Service Union to ensure that we show to the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines that we are indeed serious. Just remember that the membership give a mandate to demand this one-off payment. It is not a salary increase because we were not given the opportunity to negotiate for a salary increase. That is why we set forth to present a proposal for 1-month compensation.
Robinson calls on all teachers to stand with the union in tomorrow's strike action, which he says will be to the benefit of all.
We know that the government would have said that teachers and public servants more or less ungrateful. Well, the government has to be grateful because it was the public servants and the teachers who would have given the government a job. This is not the time to be pulling down and tearing down and pointing fingers at anyone. In any part of the world, trade unions would take an action, and it is done in the interests of their membership and the nation. And it is only in St. Vincent and the Grenadines you find persons in high offices would try to point fingers at trade union leaders in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We need to raise our game. We need to go past that and focus on the real issue.
The SVGTU president says despite the criticisms about tomorrow's action, they remain firmly grounded, going forward with courage and dedication.
And let us demonstrate what our motto says: hand in hand, united stand. Workers in this country, this is your time to stand up. If you miss it this time, it will never come again. Let us show to the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that we are serious, we mean business, and this is time for compensation. I want to thank you for your support, for the encouragement that you have given so far, and let us keep it clean and focused to the point. Remember, the Teachers Union is on strike. Parents, keep your children at home. Members of the Teachers Union and non-members, do not be intimidated. The authorities would do all their analysis to assess the impact. Stay away from work tomorrow.
And grievance officer of the Public Service Union, Joel Poyer, says the 1-month tax-free compensation to teachers and all civil servants is an important issue, and the time is now that they stand up and be united for one cause.
This is making it so extravagant and out of the way. If the Prime Minister had any interest in paying us, he could have said to us from the time he knew it was 25 million since in December, walk out whereby, okay, I can't make this as a one-off payment, but I would break it down into quarters, so at the end of the first quarter you would get one tranche, you get a second tranche at the end of the second quarter, and a third tranche at the end of the third quarter. You're getting the final as a Christmas bonus. The same thing would have done. But you're making it sound to the public now as 25 million is something such great that it would cause you to have to cut back on so much things to afford us it. Yet We keep on soldier on for 4 years.
Hoyer says since December of 2014 they have put forward the proposal to government, and many times before the matter was discussed with the respective unions, the Prime Minister sought to deal with it in the public domain, which he explained happened when things began to get sour.
And many a times when we bring him up on it, he would apologize and said sorry, but yet still he still went back and do the very same thing over and over again. Now he's saying that we should come and speak to him. We from the union doesn't have a problem speaking with the Prime Minister, but what we are asking him to do, whatever he wanted to come and talk about, put it in writing. So we could have it in writing and discuss it among us and see if it is viable for us to discuss. We can't continue with this saying that you'd promise and promise and promise, and then all after time you keep on moving the goalposts distance away, and then we have no way to maneuver. The time has come whereby we need to be treated as equal partner in this situation.
President of the Public Service Union, Elroy Boucher, is also appealing to all public servants to stand with their union in tomorrow's strike action.
For 4 years, we have not had any salary increases. For 4 years, prices have gone up. You know how it feels when you go to the supermarket and you can't buy what you really want. You know how difficult it is. You know how hard it is to provide for your children and your families. Many of you have complained to me. You have explained the hardship that you feel, the financial pain that you feel. The government doesn't feel your pain. The Prime Minister doesn't feel your pain. And those that you may hear speaking and advocating for no action, trust me, they can go to the supermarket quite comfortably. I am saying to you now that it is time for us as workers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the public service, to stand up. If we stand up strong, your union is strong. And if we don't stand for anything, then we're going to fall.
This country's Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, is reminding teachers of how they have been given increases in salaries over the years, pointing out that principals of primary schools have received just over 97% raise from 2001 to present. At a UOP meeting in Sion Hill on Friday night, Dr. Gonsalves expounded that in 2001, when his party was voted into office, a head teacher made about $27,000 as a starting point, but today they make some $54,000, which is an increase of 97%. He also mentioned that he paid for 55 of the 60 head teachers to gain a university education.
27,000. That is just over $2,000 a month for a head teacher. And they have to pay more taxes out of that. I take all of them, pay them to go to university, to get the education here or overseas. They ain't pay nothing. So that they are now graduate, 55 out of the 60 of them. They are now making, don't shout at me and tell me I'm too generous to them. They start over $54,000 a year, an increase of over 97% since 2001.
The Prime Minister also pointed out that at the 26 secondary schools, head teachers received an increase of 72%.
The head teacher and headmistress salary 40-something% at the grammar school and high school. And bring up those for the other secondary school to meet the grammar school and high school, so there are now no distinction between any of them. You know where they start at? The principal of the secondary schools in the old days, in 2001, started at $34,600 a year. They start now at $59,900 $688, an increase of 72%.
Throwing his party's full support behind the nation's teachers and public servants, leader of the SVG Green Party, Ivan O'Neill, says it is hypocrisy for the Prime Minister to say that his government is unable to make the payment.
The Prime Minister, between 2010 and 2014, the Prime Minister gave himself a salary increase of $10,902. So Ralph Gonsalves is full of hypocrisy. He said to these people of this country, we don't have any money to give the teachers union and the public service union no increase in salary, when he himself has taken a whopping big increase in the salary. And he said, and I did the research, and that information I got from the budget estimates of 2010 and 2014. So he's had a whopping increase. In addition to that, we've had a big increase in the price of water in 2012. That was brought on by the government as well. But most importantly, he's saying he doesn't have any money.
And responding to the claim of a salary increase for himself and members of his cabinet, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on radio this evening made it clear that the claim is not true. He also repeated his call for all teachers to go to work tomorrow and for parents and guardians to send their children to school. The Ministry of Education, on the other hand, is advising the public that regular school activities will continue as usual tomorrow, Tuesday, October 13th, 2015. The ministry is advising parents and guardians to take their children to school as they would normally do and to have their education continue. It is also imploring teachers to fulfill their obligations to the nation's youth by attending school and continuing normal instructional and supervisory activities. However, the Teachers Union and Public Service Union says tomorrow's strike action will go on as planned and is advising their members to withdraw their services tomorrow. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is refuting claims that his administration is draining the money at the Building and Loan Association by cashing in $6 million. At the rally to launch his ULP Central Leeward candidate Jomo Thomas, Dr. Gonsalves says that the $6 million the government took was owed to the government. He says the association owes nearly 3 times the amount, but gave a debt forgiveness of the remaining amount.
We are owed the money. And we were owed nearly 3 times that amount. And we say, give us 6, and we write off the rest because the building and loan having difficult times. You understand what I mean? And they made, since we helped them, they made $9 million profit over the last 2 years. We bring them out of the hole. And we had provided all the support for them. When a lot of him friend them who was involved in building and loan helped to pull down building and loan, and we had to save it. You hear me? We had to save it.
And opposition leader Anim Eustace, who first spoke on the withdrawal at a meeting in his constituency on Friday night, today on radio says he is concerned about the action taken by the government and what it means to Vincentians, particularly members of the Building and Loan Association. Eustace says when he learned that the $6 million was taken from the credit union by way of interest levy, he became very annoyed.
Annoyed because we have had no reports indicating that building loan has returned to a state where their liquidity is good and therefore in a position to operate on the normal basis. But on the other hand, the other depositors at building loan or other citizens of this country who have money there cannot withdraw their money. Sometimes you have to wait 6 months and different periods of months before you can withdraw money for your own money. The taxes have been put on the interest that you earn, and the government is taxing the money you can't withdraw. That's what it boils down to, you know. You cannot withdraw that money except they say that it could come in 6 months' time or it could come in 5 months' time. So we have no report on what the actual status of building loan is at the present time. All we hear now is that $6 million was withdrawn by the government.
The opposition leader says the government should be the last to take out any interest levy from the Building and Loan Association as high as $6 million, since it was the government who brought in the Financial Services Authority to bring back some semblance of profitability and liquidity to the credit union, which was facing serious financial challenges.
It's totally unacceptable. And I hold the government totally responsible for what is happening here now. What are all those thousands of people now who want to withdraw money for some purpose? How would they feel to know that the money they can't withdraw has been taxed and the government has taken out that tax money and can use it for their own purposes, whatever they may be? That is the problem I have with that matter. I don't know how Building and Loan has improved since 2012 with all the things they say they have been doing. I don't know. People use a lot of technical terms to deal with the issues to fool the public. The fact remains, he went and they withdrew their mother's money, Prime Minister's mother's money. You can't do that with your money, and now the government turns around and takes $6 million, which is a tax on the other people's money that is there. And you take that out and you don't know what to take it out for.
The Building and Loan Association President Jeremy Jackson has responded to claims that the government withdrew $6 million in tax levy from the association as misleading and untrue. Meanwhile, in a statement issued this evening, Jackson says it is unfortunate that despite the successful implementation of the recapitalization plan and the progress made by the BLA over the past 2 or so years, some persons are now bent on reversing the same with what he describes as misleading and untrue statements. The statement says the allegations that members of the Building and Loan Association, or the BLA, were denied access to their funds is untrue and misleading, as no member has ever been refused access to their funds that matured under the recapitalization plan of the BLA, except in cases where those funds have been pledged as security. The president further stated that the recent statement made raising questions that the government has taken $6 million from the BLA is unfounded and untrue. He explained that the past boards of directors and management did not honor their statutory obligation by making interest levy payments to the government since its introduction, which resulted in the association being indebted to the government of over $17 million due for interest levy and interest and fines on the same as at September 30th, 2015. The BLA president says at several annual general meetings prior to 2013, the membership mandated the then board of directors and management to address the issue of the escalating interest levy liability that is owed to the government. However, this was never done. The statement further outlined that the recently elected board of directors was mandated to immediately address the outstanding interest levy, which was done, resulting in an agreement in which the BLA will pay a lump sum of $6 million and that the government would waive approximately $3 million of the total outstanding interest level and all interest and fines accrued of $8 million, which brings the total relief grant to $11 million. The BLA president says the association has repaid its debt to the government with the $6 million and is grateful for the relief granted to the association and its members. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Commerce and Information Technology, Senator Camilo Gonçalves, at the opening ceremony of Business Lab's workshop here today, says a lot of solutions for development given to SVG in the past do not benefit the size of the country. Gonçalves says in SVG there's a very young, educated and creative population who should be given the opportunity to take the country forward.
A young population, a very creative population, and a population that is full of energy and is well educated, has fertile minds, and that is a much better place for us to place the future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the hands of young people and have the young people take us forward.
The government minister says for development to be placed in the hands of young entrepreneurs, there has to be a change in the culture, as there are a lot of people with brilliant workable ideas who think the right way is to go to school, get subjects, then get a job with the government and keep that job until they retire. The young Gonçalves makes it clear that the government cannot hire everyone in the country and persons need to unlock their potential and spread their wings to higher heights.
We have to therefore unlock and unleash a can-do spirit among young Vincentians, a spirit that makes them feel that starting your own business or making your idea actionable is equally viable as a career path. Not better or worse than, but equally viable.
He encourages persons to use the various technologies available to their advantage and stop making excuses and make their ideas become reality.
We have all the tools, and the biggest tool is sitting between your ears. And all we have to do is unlock it. And I'm glad that we have people here with the experience to teach us how to do that, to take us through the steps that are important to get from idea to success. Let's stop talking about what good ideas are. And let's stop talking about what we could do but for XYZ. Forget the excuses, forget the long talk, and let's make our ideas actionable.